I'm Darren Green, and this is the RoundTable podcast, here to give you another stellar episode. I'm here joined with Kenise and
Hello.
Nevin. What's up?
Hello, what's going on?
Trying to get this together. It took a minute. These microphones, I'm still working out the microphones and everything, but let's get into the intro. We're going to start with an intro, and then we're going to get into the hot topics. I just want to know how everyone's doing, how everyone's first couple days of this semester is going.
It's been really easy. I have completed 3 weeks of schoolwork already. Trying to get things out the way.
Okay.
Focus more on working. That's all.
I mean, I'm pretty much on airplane mode. Just trying to get through the first 2 weeks, and then everything settles down, relaxes. NJCU wouldn't be in JCU without messing my schedule up, so I had to do a little running around fixing that up. Yeah.
What happened there?
I specifically dropped the class last semester because I didn't have good relations with the professor. Reset up to take the class on the first day, mind you, so it would be no issues. Come to find out, they canceled that class and put me in the class with the professor again.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So I had to get that dropped, then had to go to the chair in the English department to get signed into a class that was full. It was a process, but it's done.
It's always a process with this school. I had issues with the tuition, with trying to get my loan to go through. I'm like, yo.
It's always so.
It is. I mean, we literally put our stuff, what my mom had to do for her little Parent Plus loan or whatever. They said, we didn't get the information. And they was telling me to come up here.
Yeah, the bookstore is ridiculous because I know
the
book.
Now, I can't be talking about that. I work for them now.
Like, it's a certain book that I want, and it's a biology book, right? And to rent it is like $80, but to buy it is $94. What's the point of renting it like for $14 cheaper? And mind you, I don't need to get the book anymore.
Right.
So I'm good, but still, like, that's like a bad deal.
No, these books.
Why are these books so high for the bookstore? You're supposed to be NJCU helping us out here. Like,
yeah, no.
Amazon getting our money more than NJCU with this book stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've been using. I've been using Amazon.
Thrift books, $80.
This is the first time I actually needed like books for my classes because media arts major doesn't really need them, but you don't really need that many books. But I'm taking like a math class and a computer science class that requires textbooks. About $100.
My book was $180 for contemporary math. Just for the access code.
Yeah.
Like, spare me the theatrics.
Yeah, it was $180. I was pissed off.
Oh, and they do tell us I shouldn't be saying this because I work there, but they do be telling us like always try to get them to buy the books and not the ebooks because the ebooks is kind of cheaper. I'm like, yo, but yeah, how was you guys' summer?
It wasn't a hot girl summer though. I'm just saying.
It wasn't a hot girl summer for you.
It was more of like a busy girl summer. Working.
Yes.
Helping out, getting this article finished. Making sure everything is settled for this semester.
As it should be.
Pretty much the same. I mean, I was working for a month upstate at a Camp Ramapo for children, like working with like behaviorally challenged and autistic kids. They was driving me up a wall for like 30 days. Then I came back and I was doing a lot of community organizing and stuff like that, getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah. My summer was kind of like, I did the internship at WWFM, which was a good experience. I got a lot of radio experience with that, and also was working and end up quitting my job. Yeah, because they tried me. They scheduled me 1 day a week. I'm like, y'all not having me work 1 day a week and then paying me crumbs?
Right.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
So I had to end up quitting that job. And I've been broke ever since, and then came here and picked up 2 jobs.
Oh, all right. That's it.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I'm working at the bookstore now, and I'm also still working as a desk assistant because, we need
them coins.
Yeah, we need them coins, and I'm not trying to be broke on this campus because it's like
podcast producer.
Yes.
3.
Oh yeah, 3 checks. Okay. Oh my goodness. But anyway. It's good to hear that from you guys. We're going to get started with hot topics because they are lengthy. And, before we get into hot topics, here's a word from our sponsor. All right, we're back with hot topics. We're going to start by talking about the Dave Chappelle stand-up show on Netflix. Had a lot of controversy. He touched on a lot of things. He talked about the whole documentary with the people the guys that came out with Michael Jackson. He talked about the LGBT and trans community. He also talked about, the gun laws and how it should change. And, he made a little funny joke about that, which I thought was very interesting. Did you watch it, Kenise?
No, but I'm pretty sure.
Did you hear any highlights on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? You watched it?
Yeah, I watched it. It wasn't really to my liking.
Why you say that?
I think overall, Dave Chappelle gets a lot of hype about being mediocrely socially conscious.
Okay.
So, like, he could say a few things and people will think it's funny because, like, it sounds woke.
Mm-hmm.
So he says something, and we can't really say this on the air, but he said that he can't say the F word, which is a slur of the LGBTQ community.
Right.
But he's allowed to say the N word. And he said, that the person he was talking to said, well, you're not an F word. And he was like, well, I'm not an N word either. Mm-hmm. And people who were on Dave Chappelle's side, because there was two sides of the fence of the situation,
right,
were saying that, like, wow, that was this extreme revelation. But in reality, it really wasn't, because for one, I'm not really sure, like, this seems to be a reoccurring thing with Dave Chappelle and his calling out the LGBTQ community. I think he said it as, like, the alphabet community or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what's his situation with that, but, like, he spent a great deal of that hour just, like, a slaughter, just a word slaughter, like, on the LGBTQ community.
I don't know. I just seemed like was more of a satire. Like, when he talked about them in the car, the G's are driving the car, the L's are on the passenger side. And I felt like that was kind of like a satire to how, within that community, how they treat each other. Like, we're all driving to a certain place, but we're not all going in the same direction, or not, fighting for the same things.
Right.
And then it all shows how, the LGBT community does sometimes cast away the T in the group, which I thought was interesting. He did say, what I did, I took what I can take. You can take what you can take from that, because there were a lot of things he did say that was right, and there was some things I was like, all right, yeah, that was a little too offensive. But overall, when he talked about the whole Michael Jackson thing, with the documentary and everything, he was telling, like, I didn't watch the documentary, but to hear him explain it, like, what they actually talked about on there, I'm just like, what?
Right.
He talked about the gun, how every black person should register for a gun.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because that's the only way laws will change.
Right.
Like, that was a good... I mean, he does have parts where he does say things that are correct, but it's just, I guess, the way he comes off sometimes.
Yeah, blunt and a little disrespectful. And I mean, there is something to be understood that comedians have a specific lane, and like you said, satire and some of their humor may be a bit dark, but it is informing. But I still think he gets a pass, and some of the things he says out of line.
Yeah.
I'm not very fond of Dave Chappelle. I'm not really a fan. I don't care for him anyway. I do find things that he says are offensive. I just feel like he's playing both sides of the field when it comes to black people and white people.
What you mean by that?
Yeah, you got to explain on that.
I just feel like he's more, when it comes to, like, such situation with Black Lives Matter, he understands more of people who are, white people, their perspective of black people, and how, they're criminals, and how they are known to be this type of people, and, like, they're known to, like, start drama with the cops.
Yeah.
More like more like on the cop side. He's fond of. He understands their motive. But, like, and he won't really care about the feelings of black people. Like, he always belittle them, saying, oh, they should do better. They should be, like, more, like, better. They should do this. They should do that. Something that he shouldn't be doing when he's, like, black himself,
Right. It's easy to talk from the position of a millionaire, not an everyday citizen.
Exactly.
Which is what a lot of black millionaires do.
Okay.
If you've seen his audience when he do comedy shows, they're more likely white people.
Yeah.
So he draws more white people, and he feeds into more to white people than his own kind.
Well, that's a lot of comedians now. When they do get mainstream, like you said, It's kind of what happens. I don't know. I mean, what are they going to do? I like how also he talked about how being a celebrity, like, it's kind of like a bad thing right now. Like, you were, like, something is eventually going to come out of whatever that you did or you said in a tweet.
On celebrities.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, maybe because I do a podcast and I talk about celebrities, like, all the time, I fall victim to doing that too. Hey, you did this in the past. You need to do something about it. You need to apologize or something. But, like, at the end of the day, you guys are a public figure. Right. And we're allowed to talk about you guys, and that's what you signed up for.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you took the check, you took the spotlight.
Yeah,
that's
right.
just how it goes.
The whole part when he was talking about Kevin Hart, and we'll just segue into that a little bit later, about the tweets. I don't know. I feel like I kind of give Kevin Hart almost the benefit of the doubt sometimes.
Why?
Sometimes, because I feel like his intentions, like, now back in the day, I don't know how he was back in the day, but I do feel like people can change. But sometimes I do, like, I don't see any malice behind his actions or anything like that, but it's just sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's just like the way he words things.
So for me, the situation with Kevin Hart is kind of funny because to the best of my knowledge, like, when did he apologize? He apologized when, like, the situation blew up in his face,
right,
and it was jeopardizing, like, a moment that he wanted to take in his career, which was hosting the Oscars, right? So if that never happened, would he have apologized? And then his apology was to the best of my knowledge, again, on Ellen. So now you're making Ellen, a white gay woman, look as if she's the face of the LGBTQ community, and you're black.
Mm-hmm.
So it's clear that you didn't want to hop on a black platform because you would have been challenged to a degree. Ellen is your friend, so she let you hop up there and she babied you, and you just apologized like all plain sight and all that, and it was good, but it wasn't really good. Like, the black gay community is still upset, and like,
yeah. He did a whole tour.
I feel like he still meant what he said, but just apologized just to get it out of his way.
That's what kind of pissed me off about that. He didn't apologize. It
wasn't sincere.
It wasn't sincere, and it was just like, oh well, I addressed this in the past. We didn't. There's no evidence.
I got no record of that. That's what I said, to the best of my knowledge, but I got no.
There is no evidence of that. So when we're talking about the interview that he was in with Lil Nas X. And, came at him again for his, how he reacted to, I guess, Lil Nas X coming out as gay.
That early success, you felt it was important to make an announcement recently.
He said he was gay, so what?
Yeah, what's the point? So why did he feel that was necessary? It's not about who cares. That's actually my question. Why do you feel it was necessary to come out and say that?
It's not that, like, it's, like, being forced. It's just, like, knowing, like, growing up. Like, I'm growing up to hate this shit. I'm not supposed to...
Hate what? Hate what?
Homosexuality, gay people. Come on now.
Why are you going to?
If you're really from the hood, it's not some. So it's like, if for me, the cool dude with the song on top of everything to say this, any other time, like, I'm doing this for attention in my eyes. But if you're doing this, like, while you're at the top, it's like for real, and it's like showing, like, it doesn't really, like, matter, I guess.
Exactly, it doesn't.
There it is.
I don't know. I felt like it kind of, like, messed with me when he said, like what? Like, he doesn't know. I mean, it's obviously clear. I mean, clear as day. He said we grew up to hate this type of culture, and that is true. In most inner cities, in most, I would say, hoods, rather.
Or just the black community, period.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So to hear him say, and they said that he was gaslighting the situation, which meaning that he was just trying to be like, he was trying to be the person that mediates, to not, just to try to challenge him in the conversation. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess, but we don't want to hear that from you.
Right, and like, gaslighting in itself, because that's the term that people are using now. Like, people say that like that's like a beneficial thing. Like, you putting a person through emotional trauma just to get them to speak out on something that you already know, just so that the public can know. And most of the public knows that there's homophobia in the black community. So you wasn't doing anything by making him say that. Like, I like that how Lil Nas stood his ground, and he kind of like indirectly checked Kevin when he said, well, you know, like, if you from the hood, because Kevin Hart is from Philly.
He's from Philly.
Yeah, so you know that there's homophobia in the black community, in the hood community, but yet you still gaslighting this young brother for what? You know that when you on top and you a star, there's a certain need to come out in society, and we place that need on people. So I don't like how they handled that up there. That was terrible.
Yeah. And I didn't see the whole thing. I've seen that one clip, and, you know, he'll go on and say, because I think he made a joke about that, you know, they'll sway it in a certain way. You know, the people that will do the promos will just point it to me. I'm like, yeah, they wouldn't if you didn't, if you said the right thing.
Right.
Ever since Lil Nas X came out as gay, I feel like the black people in the media really wasn't on his side of supporting him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got rappers saying, oh, he shouldn't have said that. It's going to affect his career. I mean, he's being open and honest about his life.
Yeah.
So why are you, like, making that seem as he shouldn't say that? I mean, you should support him even though you're not that type of people, but still support him because he's another fellow black person just like you are.
Yeah, the part where you said that you shouldn't have said that out there. I mean, yeah, because there are rappers that are, but they don't want to come out because they feel like it jeopardizes their career or whatever.
And it shouldn't. It doesn't make you gay because you supporting people and care for other people who are gay and their feelings. It doesn't make you that way. It makes you support of their feelings, support about being who they want to be in their life.
Yeah.
You know, it's not right.
I think that whole situation like speaks to a bigger issue of like people separating the LGBTQIA community and the black community as if like LGBTQIA people aren't black and as if they haven't been at the forefront of like the black resistance.
Yes.
Like LGBTQ like the community created Black Lives Matter. So like there's always this issue whenever this situation comes up of like, oh, this is two separate communities, and the LGBTQ community always want these rights, but don't do nothing for black people. When they the ones that's putting their lives on the line, like really dying for the cause, like because of their like dual identity of being black and gay, like you double marginalized.
Exactly. And I like how you mentioned how they created the Black Lives Matter movement, and now it's looked at as overrated now,
right? Because
they found out who created it,
right. Right, but let that have been two cis hetero black men, and we still would have been loving it up.
Exactly. I mean, it's a conversation that needs to keep on happening. Like I say, a lot of people. And another thing that Kevin Hart mentioned was like, "Who cares?" Or like, it doesn't matter. I'm like,
it really does.
That's ignorant.
Yeah, like to say
the world cares
because it's not like people care.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? People, I remember when he did come out. It was a lot of people giving him the side eye. There was a lot of people that wouldn't work with him and stuff like that. Like, if you don't want to work with him, I feel like that's okay. That's whatever. But it's just like people like people like Lil Boosie that came out and was like, "Oh, now I finally know what he was talking about."
That's
in his Old Town Road song or whatever. Very ignorant. It's a lot of ignorance.
Lil Boosie irrelevant.
Yeah, well, you know that's what you do for relevancy,
right? Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Clout.
Terrible.
But I heard stuff about him anyway.
But anyway, Lil Nas X held the title for the #1 spot for so many weeks. So he's very successful what he's doing with his career while being openly gay.
As a young, proud black gay man, talk about it.
And that's real crazy. What if he would have came out before that?
Would that have hindered his success in the horrible society we live in? Who knows? But it's a possibility, an unfortunate possibility.
Yeah. Well, speaking of him, he just came out with his little video for I think it's called Pani or whatever.
Panini.
Panini?
Panini.
Panini?
Yeah, like a sandwich.
Yeah, I seen it. I like how it looked like Tron. Like the video game Tron or the movie. No, Tron. Like you don't know Tron? Like the people that
negative.
Y'all never heard of Tron? No, it's
I heard of Megatron who's in a blue armor suit.
No, in a blue armor suit. That's a Transformer. Anyway, Tron is an old video game. They made it into a movie. It's about these people that just like.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm still not hooked. I'm gonna get hip on my own time.
They came out with a recent movie like years ago. Yeah. So anyway, yes, shout out to Lil Nas X for his new video. It looks nice. One other thing that I wanted to talk about since we're on rappers and stuff like that. Y'all heard about Cardi B?
What?
What about her now?
She beefing with 10-year-olds.
Seriously?
Well, no. They came out with a diss track, a Cardi B diss track, and she just been ranting all on social media on a couple of occasions, just talking about like, oh my God, why are these kids? Da, 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 da. I'm like, yo, these are 10-year-old kids. Like, you over here responding to everything, and that just comes to the point where it's like, should celebrities like respond to every criticism that they get?
No.
I mean, it makes them look crazy, especially if it's 10-year-olds.
It makes you look very like sensitive to every single topic that shouldn't be sensitive to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a 10-year-old child talking about you. You think you're gonna get mad about that? And how old are you? 25?
Right.
Come on now.
It's just almost 30.
Where's your matureness and your grown up attitude? Like, come on now. You don't gotta respond to every single thing, because every single thing ain't that really hard or offensive.
Right.
I thought it was funny. Like, they're just rapping. They little kids. I don't know.
You can't handle the media to sit here and getting sensitive every single time about every single thing.
Well, that's the Libra in her. Libras are very sensitive.
I didn't even hear about that, but one thing I saw about Cardi B was like maybe a couple weeks ago was how she had a meeting with Bernie Sanders, and like everybody is championing her for like getting involved with politics, and like to set the record straight, like celebrities aren't politicians and activists. Like, celebrities should not step inside that lane. We got real activists in the community. We got real politicians. Celebrities, if you want to help out, donate money to the cause, but stop coming in things that you haven't done years of research on and then telling people to do things and vote for people that you have no direct responsibility or even knowledge of what they doing for people. An example would be Kanye West and his little love for Donald Trump that he came out with in the beginning. He done brought that back and doubled back down on it. But still, how many folks done went over to Donald Trump just because Kanye was like, oh, this the man? You know what I'm saying? You as a celebrity, you got a responsibility to entertain, but don't step in lanes that you got no business being in. And Cardi was doing that too.
Yeah, I saw the interview as well. It showed that she wasn't really educated on what she was talking about. It was just saying, the people are saying, we should do this. Why is this happening? What would you do for this type of topic?
Right.
It really didn't show her really know much about what's going on in life.
Right.
It just showed she's going by what the people are saying.
Right.
And not what she wants to say, not what she thinks.
Exactly. I just need you to vote.
It looked like somebody gave her 2 pages to look at before the interview.
Oh, you can thank her PR team.
Quick. Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
That is full PR. They know how to get her together.
Right.
That's how Atlantic Records is. We're going to get into that. But I don't know.
She wasn't the right person for the job at all.
And I hate to sound like that commentator that was like, just shut up and dribble the ball. Like, could you just shut up and recite your rhymes?
Right. Because it transitions from rappers to athletes. True athletes aren't politicians or activists either. Like, you can support the movement, but you're not at the forefront of the resistance. The people on the ground protesting are like, let's lift those voices up.
Or unless you're coming like Colin Kaepernick.
Right. That's a whole different situation. That man sacrificed his entire career to become a voice for the movement, and we can respect that. And Colin actually out here really getting the knowledge. Because if we could talk about Colin, I don't know if y'all want to speak on that Jay-Z situation.
Let's get into it because, it's been a minute since we've been on the RoundTable podcast. Even though this is a little dated topic, we can definitely bring this back up.
Right. That Jay-Z situation.
Okay.
And let you introduce that to the public real quick because I want to pull up a quote that Colin had said that was a little shade to Hov.
Okay.
People need to hear that. So tell them what we talking about.
Well, here's my thing. Okay, so apparently Jay-Z is doing a partnership with NFL. We thought that he was going to potentially get a team, and because this is what I thought. I was like, okay, he's doing a partnership with them. Maybe he's going to get a team, and he's going to put Colin Kaepernick on or whatever. This, that, and the third. Well, we found out he's not getting the team. He's just partnering with them for whatever reason. To help be a part of the board for like the performances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mind you, last year he was telling people not to perform.
Right.
So it's looking really bad. And he said that he spoke to Colin Kaepernick about this.
That's not the way Colin.
But
that is not the way Colin coming.
And he's saying that we shouldn't be kneeling anymore.
Right. He said we passed kneeling, as if he ever kneeled.
Oh yeah, that meeting.
Right. He up there laughing. He up there laughing with these members of the NFL executive team and all that, and it's crazy.
Right.
But he recently they announced, because he not just like in charge of or has a hand in like the Super Bowl performances. He also like they created some type of social justice program called Inspire Change. So they came out with like the first announcement, and all they came out with, people, is T-shirts. And how they gonna have free performances from their advocates, who include Meghan Trainor, Meek Mill, and there was another artist that's slipping my mind right now. But some of the proceeds, because it says proceeds, it doesn't say all proceeds. So we got to know that means some. Some of the proceeds from the merchandise and the performances is gonna go towards the Inspire Change. The Inspire Change organization and like some activism organizations on the ground, but they didn't specify who. So as people wait to see what happens, you come out with T-shirts. Like, so what they supposed to have like social justice slogans on them, and like that's supposed to motive. Like, I don't understand like how that's supposed to change anything.
Well, you know, Jay-Z always trying to taste check.
Right. Like, what T-shirts doing for police brutality? Because that was we got to get back to what the initial issue was. Like, what he knelt for. Like, Jay-Z just sticking his hands in pockets, and that's what he does. Colin Kaepernick, because I wanted to pull up this quote, and I found it. When the day Jay-Z announced his first move with the partnership and Inspire Change and all that, Colin Kaepernick posted a quote on Twitter, and it was from a real famous book by Robert Allen. It's called The Black Awakening in Capitalistic America. So the quote is, "What they seek is not an end to oppression, but the transfer of the oppressive status into their own hands." So what Jay-Z is basically doing in reference to that quote is basically saying, all right, like now I'm going to just get in with these folk and I'm going to be a part of the oppressive status. We're not making any change, but we just going to get more black people in this situation to do the same thing that they doing.
And then you said the whole thing about the selling T-shirts. I'm like, that's moving past kneeling.
Right. So we went from kneeling of police brutality and
to
now
buying
we shirts. Right. What moves we making?
And I try. I mean, like, look at the last couple episodes of my podcast. I did say, well, maybe he's doing something. Like, he's doing something.
We wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt.
It never came.
Right. And if you just look at the contrast between that, like Jay-Z comes out with this organization with the NFL, and they got to sell T-shirts to raise money for organizations. When Colin Kaepernick has already donated $1 million of his own money to organizations all across America, and then started his own organization with his own money. Come on, it's no comparison.
But let me play devil's advocate though, because a lot of people were saying that they was giving Colin the side eye when he took that settlement check. Now,
anybody that gets fired from their job from discrimination will sue. And when you sue, what are you suing for? You suing for money.
Right.
So he took the settlement because the NFL probably offered him a number that he was like, okay, I'm comfortable with this without going all the way through the process. He also sacrificed his job in that sense because, let's be real, they wasn't about to ever hire him. He was one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL before they blackballed him. So he made that decision as an individual, like, hey, I might never get another check from the NFL. Let me take this check that I'm about to get, and I'm going to keep leading the movement. I personally ain't mad at him that he got his check because they blackballed him. He missed like 3 years of his career, which would have been millions of dollars.
Right.
You know
That's true.
He
get your
earned
money.
that check. Let him get his money. He's still out here leading the people.
And he's using that money to still go by what he's doing right now, leading the people, making sure his voice is heard, still kneeling.
Folks mad he got a check he earned. Terrible.
I don't blame him.
He mad about everything, and I'm just like, if the NFL's canceled, are we going to like stop watching? That's what I'm saying.
I haven't watched a football game since August 2016 when he
That's
first kneeled. And I don't like the way they moving now. I don't think I want to watch one. Like, they gonna have to inspire change performances during halftime. So I kill him. Kill him. What change is being inspired? That's what I
wouldn't stop kneeling. I wouldn't stop kneeling.
And let's be clear, it's NFL players in the league right now still kneeling. Colin Kaepernick, right hand man, plays for the Carolina Panthers. He kneels every game. Kenny Steele plays for the Miami Dolphins. He kneels every game. It's folks in the league still on the ground protesting.
Right.
So shout out to them.
Exactly.
And Colin Kaepernick's still ready to play NFL football. He just had a workout with OBJ the other day. So if any team wanted to sign him, they could sign him. So we know what it's really about.
Like, I don't know why no team is just signing him. Like, at this point, I can't, any team, just no team. Out of how many we have?
32?
Okay. Out of 32 teams, ain't none of them picking him.
Right.
And it's not like they're saying, oh, you can't do this.
Right.
They're scared about sponsors, being pulled.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Because them sponsors is going.
Right.
As soon as they sign him, they going. And they know that. And them teams is scared.
Because we seen what happened when he partnered with Nike.
Yeah.
It's a mess. That's why I said reputation is everything in this country, and I feel like that's the problem.
Right.
We can never redeem ourselves for anything. We can never speak how we truly want to speak, speak how we feeling without, oh, well, you said that in the past, oh, yeah, we can't hire you, or we can't do this. Like, oh, my goodness.
Right.
Like we have to be perfect.
Grow.
Yeah.
Like, if you showing your growth as an individual publicly and privately, then it should be nothing to speak on. But I don't know. Cancel culture is real.
Yeah. It's getting to a point where, okay, now it's starting to be problematic.
Right. Right.
Like, because now we're just canceling everybody.
Like everybody, it was something, I don't know if y'all know who the young brother Nature or something is. He got famous for interacting with deer on the internet.
Okay. Oh,
like that.
No, I didn't hear about him. What
You
about
didn't
that?
hear about Brother Nature? Oh, you know who that is though?
I know who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. They tried to cancel him for some tweets that he tweeted when he was 13. They were some anti-Semitic tweets or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what he was talking about. But the boy was only 12, 13 years old. Like, they dug up the tweets from nearly a decade ago.
Okay.
And they was legitimately trying to cancel him, and they had him out here writing long paragraphs on Twitter, apologizing, this, that, and the third. He thought he was about to lose the little platform he just made. And as it does in the media, stuff cycles in and out fast. So he ended up, making it through the cycle without being canceled. But they almost got him.
I know he is.
Brother Nature's, that's the one with he was giving the marshmallows to deer.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know there's two of them. There's the other one that does the wild, he's a black guy. He was with chimpanzees and rhinos and all that.
Nah, Brother Nature look Hispanic.
He's Hispanic. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
they tried to cancel little brother.
And he had to do an apology. Now
he did a couple.
Social media is different now. Let me tell you something. If you have the notoriety, if you got people that know you on social media, you can get away with saying anything. I mean, look at Jason Lee.
Who is that?
That's who that is.
Yeah, I don't like Jason Lee.
No, but like him or not, he's a commentator. You would say he the boy Wendy Williams. Okay, he talks about celebrities, and he has a show called Hollywood Unlocked.
Yeah, which
I listen to. I love that podcast. But he can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Nothing is getting pulled because it's not television, it's not radio, it's podcast.
Yeah, but the thing is, when he went back to say what he said about Ariana Grande,
Yeah, that was a little messed up. He does say stuff that's messed up now, but
that was messed up. And when he gave his apology, it wasn't sincere. He just said it to blow it all over under the rug. He really is offensive, especially to females. He's very disrespectful to females, but people let it go because, he has famous celebrities backing him up, like Cardi B, all the other type of models, these rappers.
Well, yeah, he gets sometimes his
support
stuff.
his company.
Yeah, his blog is kind of paid for opinion, but sometimes. But to my point is to hear him, Brother Nature, have to apologize on social media. It's what who sponsor you? You know what I'm saying? It's social media.
Right.
But I guess there is still, you're kind of restricted, certain people.
Is Jason Lee of color?
Yes.
He's half, yeah.
I want to say he's Latin, right?
He's I don't think he's Latin, but he's half black,
He's half black. Okay, well then, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Usually
this podcast is the future now.
Right. I don't want to make a generalization, but usually the people we see getting canceled are of color.
Or of color,
and
yeah.
Too often do we see people who are not of color actually get canceled.
The thing with the tweets, and you said it was a decade ago.
Yeah.
I feel yes, people have room to change. A lot of opinions change when you get older and you start realizing stuff okay.
Sure.
Yeah. If I go back to my little Facebook post
or MySpace or any of that.
Right. I'm forced to have to delete my entire Facebook because I can't go back that far. I made so many posts.
Right.
So it's like, I'm going to have to try to do that because, my job probably going to look through my Facebook and be like, oh, you said this.
Right. And just a side note for y'all who thinking about, like, being in the public eye, like, there's apps out there where you can actually, delete your tweets so you ain't got to change accounts or anything like that. They can let you see back a few years because folks need to do that because last thing you want is to jeopardize your coin for something you said when you wasn't
give me that
18.
app at the end of this show.
For sure.
No, because it's like no one is perfect. No one ever, you're going to offend people sometimes. Sometimes it's unintentional. Sometimes it is, But at the end of the day, you should have like you should be able to redeem yourself, basically. And it's kind of hard to do that. Reputation is everything. Ugh. Like, even when people that go to jail, like, I really feel bad because they have to really work extra hard to even try to work. It's like, you have to have a squeaky clean reputation to eat.
Right.
That's crazy. But, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, when you talk about jail, it made me bring back to the Exonerated 5.
When
I'm so happy you use that language instead of the, the CP5 because language is so important. Because the Central Park 5 makes them sound guilty, and they weren't guilty. Let's keep calling them the Exonerated 5.
When they got out of prison, how hard it was to get them back on their feet. And even if they were found out not guilty, they still had a hard time getting back on their feet,
Right.
They went through a lot.
Yeah, they got money for it.
But before that time period before that settlement came, though, that had to be rough.
That was
terrible. You're just a broke black man.
That's terrible. No one wanted to be around them. No one wanted them at their jobs. No one wanted to do business with them at all over something they did not do. And that is terrible how this system is.
Yeah.
And think about it. When you out of prison for doing something you didn't do, and you don't have that platform that they did or hope that they did, it's still terrible in this world.
Make sure y'all check out When They See Us if y'all haven't. It's definitely emotionally traumatic, so be prepared. You're going to see some things that's going to trigger you. But shout out to Ava DuVernay and all the other black directors and folks that's actually starting to capture what's been happening to us for hundreds of years and putting that into mainstream and pop culture for everyday citizens to understand. Because a lot of people ain't know about the Central Park, the Exonerated 5, and a lot of people ain't know that Donald Trump put out an $85,000 ad for them to get the death penalty. And now that's our president.
That's our dummy in chief.
And the police, that woman lawyer, whoever who she is,
she's still out here making books.
Yeah, saw them getting beat down.
Turned off her comments on Instagram.
I mean, where is you in your little jail cell? Like,
right.
why are you not in there?
She done lost all her positions already, though. Let's be clear. All her jobs, all her chair positions. She done lost all of that. She got books. A lot of bookstores done pulled them off the shelves. So she's effectively being canceled.
That's good.
Let's go back to history with Emmett Till. The woman who lied on him, saying that he touched her and all that stuff. She even said that, it wasn't true. But you still out here in the open. I don't care how old you are. You still out here in the open and living your free life. This boy is dead for how many years now, and you sitting here living your free life, but you're not in a jail cell for lying on him and making him out and got him killed.
Right. I think the reason why they didn't get in because I guess they really thought that they did it.
She just flat out said that
now if she admit anywhere if there's any type of factual evidence of her saying I know I just picked whoever.
No, it's public knowledge that she admitted that, but I think the only reason that she wasn't sent to jail is because Emmett Till wasn't killed.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Exonerated 5.
Oh, word.
That police.
With the Emmett Till situation, I feel like the only reason that lady wasn't put to jail because Emmett Till wasn't killed by law enforcement. He was killed by people taking the law into their own hands. So I feel like the law trying to loophole themselves into not being responsible for that. But society is responsible for that anyway. She could have went to jail. What's the lady name from the Exonerated 5? Laura Feinstein or something like that. She needed to go to jail too.
She needed
because she built her career off that entire situation. Let's be clear about that. She got coin off them brothers being in prison.
And the woman who was on her side, and she knew they didn't do it because of the specimen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She knew it wasn't them, but she still went along with it.
You talk about the lawyer, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a lot of... I watching that whole, like, 4 episodes or whatever you want to call it, it was a series. It was really sad.
Yeah, I know. Corey Wise' little segment broke me. That broke me.
It did.
That broke me.
But since we're talking about that, there was a lot of talk on social media talking about, oh, well, they shouldn't show black trauma too much or something like that. I seen a lot of people post. I know you posted something about that. I don't remember what you posted exactly, Nevin, but how do y'all feel about that, like the black trauma?
That's specifically why I gave that warning about like that specific series being like emotionally traumatic. So definitely keep that in mind. But I agree with that sentiment just because, see, it's two sides of the coin. Like sometimes you really need to show the world specific things, but black trauma shouldn't have to be put on video for folks to understand it or validate it. Like we've been being beaten and lynched and harassed and wrongfully targeted by the law for hundreds of years. So just because something is on DVD now that you believe is true, because when you talk to the average citizen, they deny everything but slavery. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They say there's no racism in the law. They'll tell you there's no racism in housing or there's no racism in education, when we know there's so many methods of systematic oppression, but there is benefits to that. But when I specifically have problems when folks videotape police killings.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like a movie or a documentary, something that's well crafted and something like that is a little different. But like Eric Gardner getting choked out on live TV, folks shouldn't be seeing that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be saying that. That's a real. That's not an actor. That's a real man that lost his life in broad daylight, and we spreading this so folks can see that black people are dying, as if we don't know black people are dying.
That's why I stopped doing that, because I have a little blog page on Instagram, and I never did show stuff like that. The only time I kind of got in trouble, remember the whole Nipsey Hussle thing?
Yeah.
That was the only time. But other than that, like, I try not to show that because I feel like it's kind of, it's graphic. Yeah,
and there's no way you look at that without like feeling that in your body. Like when I seen that, and I wish I never seen that.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, speaking of Eric Garner, the police not held accountable for their actions. It's terrible. I mean,
we could say that again and again and again.
I know.
He finally, recently, this past, maybe last month, just got fired after 5 years of having his job. But not only should he be fired, he should be in prison.
Yes. Exactly. I don't understand why oh my God, no, never mind.
Like, the chokehold itself was illegal.
Exactly.
Like, it wasn't a situation where Eric Gardner had a gun. It wasn't a situation where he feared for his life. There were multiple officers on the ground, and Daniel Pantaleo was choking the life out of him. And then they put their knee on his head. Like, that was murder in broad daylight. Execution by the police. And the most is you lose your job, and now they got GoFundMe accounts for him to keep his family an upstanding economic. Yeah, they do.
GoFundMe. See, I already got issues with GoFundMe.
For him to keep his family in upstanding economic wealth, they got GoFundMe accounts. Come on.
I got issues with that whole situation ever since the whole Nigel Shelby situation. And you mean to tell me they had a GoFundMe for his funeral, but we got Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade pitching in for the funeral? I'm like, what about the GoFundMe?
Right.
Was that really them? Like,
right. You got to be careful on sites raising money.
It'll be going somewhere else.
You should be ashamed of yourself if you a judge and you sitting here making no one saying that these police officers are not guilty of their actions. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself to be the judge at all.
Hey, well, we just have to, I don't know, just keep it moving.
We just got to keep fighting. That's all we can do.
On a more
lighter
crazy, well, I wouldn't say lighter, because this I don't know if you heard about the whole Rick Ross situation. So he shared a new memoir, which reveals a real bad seizure that he had, a real severe one that he defecated while in bed. People are saying, okay, I went my whole life without wanting to know this. So it's like, when you're making your memoirs, do you think that it's like too much. Like people sometimes share too much of their personal life.
Because
I feel like I didn't need to know this, but
right.
But since I heard this, y'all only about to hear it. Because look,
I mean, I don't think so. Just because like a memoir isn't really an autobiography.
Mm-hmm.
An autobiography is like a timeline, but a memoir, like you trying to share specific information, and like a lot of people don't realize, like seizures are deadly. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying. When the body nearly dies, you do defecate. So like, well, when you die, most of the times you do defecate. So in seizures, folks do like I'm saying defecate, and that's what he did. I mean, I wouldn't want to know that, but I don't think he's wrong for putting that information out there because I mean that's the unadulterated graphic truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. I still wouldn't want to know that either, though.
Right. I was just like, okay. These topics. Okay, so Ariana Grande is suing Forever 21 for $10 million over a trademark infringement. So the singer alleges that Forever 21 and her team were in talks of a deal in December 2018 in January. And the company, it just didn't work out, I guess. Mm-hmm. So instead, Forever 21 allegedly stole Ariana Grande's campaign across their websites. I don't know if you go on Forever 21. You don't shop there, right?
I used to, but I'm Team ASOS now, so.
Yeah.
ASOS?
Yes. Okay, I'll shop at ASOS too. Okay.
I got the app.
Got this shirt from ASOS, okay? Yeah, so they started doing campaigns that kind of looked similar to the Seven Rings song, you know, when she had the little buns and stuff like that. So she's suing them for like, what I say, 10 million? 10 million. Look, that's what they get.
That's what, you know,
Because okay, go ahead.
Like these fashion stores, clothing stores, like Forever 21, Fashion Nova, be taking anybody's like brand and making it to their own and stealing it, and without giving props or credit, and they should get sued. You know, they're taking other people's like not known fashion designers' designs and make it as their own. People buying it for Fashion Nova,
right?
But not the actual designer. And for you to take an artist's music career, their songs, and made it into your own.
Well, it wasn't the
crap.
songs; it was the
like
the look.
The look, yeah, but still.
Because it made it look like, oh well, yeah, Ariana Grande has like a little partner with Forever 21, which is not true.
But yeah, you using her name for your publicity, basically, and you should run her check, run her money,
like $10 million. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, and you know, Forever 21 is going downhill.
They're going downhill. Like I said they deserved it because last time I talked about this. That's when they was giving out Atkins Diet bars to plus size customers in their little online purchases. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like I feel like they're doing everything wrong. I don't know what was going on. I know a lot of these department stores are not lasting. I mean, remember Aeropostale and Hollister and all them? They're going downhill. It's all about ASOS and, you know, stuff like and things of that nature.
I don't really know too much about Ariana Grande, but she got a lot of nerve suing somebody for stealing from her when it said that, you know what I'm saying, she appropriates black culture a lot. And there was also a specific situation. I just pulled up the facts because I like the facts.
Okay.
Where a drag queen had accused Ariana of stealing a direct look of her. And she came out, she tweeted and said, it's Pharamone, by the way, for the facts, folks. Ariana should give me $10 million since her team literally sent a pic of me to the designer and copied my look. And right on the article, and it's on BuzzFeed, right on the article, there's an image of her copying her exact look. And this ain't the first time that folks said that Ariana Grande done appropriated some type of culture. So she got a lot of nerve suing for some coin when she be taking folks stuff too.
Well, let me just say this. I don't mean to be that guy. But, I mean, yes, she could have stole that person's look. But, you know, do they own the copyright stuff? Is it something that, you know, you get what I'm saying?
True.
Like, Forever 21 took her whole Seven Rings, that whole look there from that music video. They have clothes for them or whatever, but they're getting paid. They're not paying Ariana Grande for it. I get what you say that she does kind of sometimes, like with her whole new era.
Right.
It does seem like that now.
Right.
Before it wasn't really like that. I mean, she was using R&B beats and stuff like that. That's what got her on.
But now it looks like she rebranded a little bit.
Yeah.
And she really robbing the culture. I don't listen to her too much, so I can't be too informed on it. But from the outside, that's what it looks like a little bit. And she ain't the only one, but she got nerve.
Here's a special fact here. Her designer, her stylist is a black person.
It is?
Yeah.
History Law wrote, he also designs or styles Zendaya as well.
Okay, so you can see how problematic that can be because, I mean, she can have whoever stylist that she wants, but, if you're having a black stylist, they're going to dress you black.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So maybe it's not always her fault. Like, it could be her team. Maybe because you can't look at a celebrity as if just that person.
Right. I mean, she definitely hired the black designer on purpose, though.
Okay.
I don't think that's coincidental that she would want a black designer. You know what I'm saying? So she could get some black. I think that's the best way for her to get black culture without getting accused of robbing it. It's like, hey, my designer black. It's stuff their artistic creativity. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Right. Right. I'm just not a fan of folks robbing the culture because when black people do something, it's looked at as ghetto or unfashionable or this and that. But when somebody takes the culture and appropriate it, folks love it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Child.
Same thing with a little throwback, but the same thing with Miley Cyrus and twerking. Black women been twerking for years. Miley Cyrus came out shaking. I don't know
she
what
go
was
back
what.
and forth. She go back and forth.
Right.
So what she want to do?
Right.
Miss Purdue chicken.
She go from black to white. I see her in a video with gold chains on rapping.
Miss Purdue chicken, as Nikki is called there on Cream Radio.
Ooh.
She lost her husband because she wanted to sit here and act out.
She wanted to be a city girl. Hot girl summer.
It's not her summer. Please. Please.
Oh my goodness. The only thing good she did was that Black Mirror episode. That's all I got to say about mine.
Right. Speaking of hot girl summer, real quick on a lighter note, shout out to Meg because she really having a year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's good to see a young black woman staying out the mix of drama, really getting to her coin, really giving young girls a light, and just having fun with it, man. I like her. She getting love out here.
No, and she really can rap. Like
She can, and she got bars. Like,
Bars.
Fire.
talk about it.
She's fired.
She the real deal.
I got her whole
entire-
album. Yes.
Yeah, that is fire.
She the real deal.
Y'all talking about hot girl summer. Wait for the winter. Tina Snow. That's also Megan Thee Stallion.
You said Tina Snow.
That's also Megan Thee Stallion.
Well, she said it's going to be a hot girl semester, which
It's
it
gonna be
is.
icy.
Right, she said that. She said that.
She's gonna take over this winter too.
She said that, and she a good influencer. She trendy, like folks follow her. She got everybody driving the boat now. Like,
Driving the boat.
that's the thing.
I know
Comes to the
Saweetie-
round table with that.
Right.
I know Saweetie runs Icy Girl Summer, but I think
Saweetie.
I think Megan gonna run Icy Girl Winter. So no
We'll see.
shade.
She just give good energy.
Yeah, she do. She
Yeah.
a whole positive force. I rock with her.
Yeah, we'll just see what happens later on because they got time for her to make her next album.
Right, right.
But with the Hot Girl Summer, it made it on I think top 10, and that's one of her first songs that made it up there, on the charts. Yeah, that's also because she worked with Nicki. That's good to see her working with Nicki because Nicki don't like to work with nobody. She don't like putting people on, I guess,
Right. I don't know what's her issue with that, but I was happy to see them collab.
Yeah.
Because you need more black women collab.
Yeah. Also, shout out to another black woman named Lizzo.
Oh, Lizzo, I forgot. Yes.
I love me some Lizzo.
I'm just getting in tune with her. I heard she the real deal, too, though. I gotta
Yeah.
get
She's
more
a
in
good.
tune.
She just earned her #1 hit on Billboard.
Ain't she like the 5th black woman to do that or something like that?
And she shut the house down, VMAs.
Every time she performs, she always shutting it down.
Yeah.
You know. Name one
Oh,
person
see,
who
I see you. I already know. Because I already know what you
I
was
was
getting
out
into.
there on the ground.
I seen you.
For the VMAs.
Right.
Like, it's so astounding to me that the city of Newark, New Jersey will host the VMAs when Newark ain't got clean water. I'm telling y'all, Newark ain't got clean water. There is lead in the water. Newark is a baby Flint, and I use that ironically because there's more lead in the water than that was found in Flint in 2014, and folks is not talking about this. You got the mayor of Newark, Raz Baraka, working the red carpet for the VMAs when myself included and other protesters was right across the street.
Now, did the city get a check for this?
It wasn't a check. They proposed a loan. Which
Okay.
means that the city would have to pay it back, which means that the taxpayers would have to pay it back. So why are you paying for clean water? Apparently it's a $120 million loan for a process that would take up to 3 to 10 years to fix the entire infrastructure. But again, why are you paying for something that's a human right? And if they took preventative measures and fixing that and upkeeping that, you wouldn't have the lead in the first place. It's interesting that you always had these problems in places like Newark, places like Flint, places that are majority people of color.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. That's environmental racism. But we going to host the VMAs, though.
No, that's what I was asking. I was like, you think that the city did get a check from them being on there?
Being on the VMAs, I definitely think they got some money and some publicity for that, and that's going to benefit them in ways. But those ways, let's be clear, ain't benefiting the people.
Right. Oh, so you're saying the check is not benefiting?
Right. It's not benefiting who it needs to benefit. It's benefiting the people that's in that room, shaking them hands, making them deals. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to lie. I really
thought it was weird that they
that
had
in the VMAs. They were going to acknowledge the situation at the VMAs show, you know?
Didn't even do it.
Because they had all these Newark, New Jersey artists performing at the end of the show. I thought they would, at least bring it up, people to bring awareness to it.
There was a couple people I know that was on red carpet.
Yeah,
I'm like,
all these rappers, these artists that's from Newark, New Jersey performing. I thought you'll at least bring up the fact that they need your help, you know? You from here, they need your help. I thought they will, at least,
Folks get their chance in the spotlight and forget about the people. But I don't want to say that and say that harshly, because I definitely believe that there was some. All right, don't speak on this, don't talk about this. We here for the VMAs. Don't speak on this, because ain't nobody say nothing about it. And they saw us out there. We saw stars. They saw us out there. We was out there. News stations was out there. Folks.
But look at the hosts. Look at the host. He's not in. Obviously, he
barely hosted the show.
I don't even know who he is. But
is he from New Jersey?
He sounds like he's from the Jersey Shore or something.
I ain't even get a chance to watch it.
I seen it. I seen it because I wanted to see what it was about, because I had to do it for Hot Topics and also just to see what was going on.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was a big stage for that stage.
I was just here for just Lizzo and just a couple people, Missy.
I heard Missy did a performance where she had the little girl that was in the video from back in the day come up and perform. That's dope. Shout out to Missy.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's Allison.
Allison Stoner, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Missy for that. But Newark in the VMAs, they funny for that.
And I remember the mayor saying that it wasn't a big issue of the Newark water. The lead wasn't a big issue.
If it wasn't a big issue, then they wouldn't have put out thousands and thousands of lead filters. They wouldn't have had folks drinking bottled water, and that's when the people really found out, when they started giving in new lead filters and they started making folks drink bottled water. So now you got organizations that's being created. Shout out to Newark Cares. Shout out to Clean Water for Newark that was on the ground protesting, and we've been out here donating water to folks. But that shouldn't have to be that's not what this should be. We donating cases of water to senior citizen homes, and every apartment getting a case. What happens after you run out of that case?
Exactly.
That was
got
cool.
No clean water.
That was really cool when I saw that on the news. And they're bathing using bottled water.
Right. Right.
So you can't even. Oh wow.
You have no water. You have no water.
Now, is it in certain areas? It's the whole North.
It's in the whole North.
Oh my goodness. Even the nice areas.
Ain't nobody got clean water in North.
Oh, that. Because I know I'm from Trenton. There's a lot of. I remember one time we had a mayor didn't even told us the day after the water was tainted to say, don't drink water. Our water is always. I think it's something in this state or something. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm like, we the capital. Trenton is the capital of New Jersey. We should be getting the best, right?
Y'all should be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of black people down there too, though. Mm-hmm. It's terrible, man. But yeah, shout out to them organizations that was on the ground actually putting in the work, trying to get folks educated, getting folks clean water, protesting out there. The city of Newark hired extra police force. They had SWAT out there. They had security out there. And we standing toe-to-toe with them. The only thing that separate us is a barricade. And they got guns that's taller than people. When we out there with our signs just protesting.
That. I'm just like...
Folks was getting arrested. It was hectic out there. Luckily, everybody made it out safely and nobody got killed, because it was quite possible. Then you, on a side note, then you had the deputy mayor. The way that the end of the protest was set up was we was right across the street from Prudential, and they got some little like dine-in bar little section that's on a hill that's looking over where we was at. So the deputy mayor was looking over us, laughing at us, mocking us for protesting. The deputy mayor, it's video of that. Yes, you can look that up. Since the deputy mayor was laughing at us protesting. Come on. That ain't a good look for his campaign. We'll see how that turns out.
Exactly.
No, man. You should got fired on the spot for that.
We'll see how that turns out.
Yep. On a lighter note, we got a couple more topics to talk about.
Right.
So Netflix is to switch up the binge release style. You know how you're watching a Netflix show and you get the whole season?
Oh, it's weekly now?
So yeah, it's weekly now.
Oh, they tripping.
Oh, they have to. They have to, any means necessary, be in competition with Disney. Because once Disney Plus comes out, that's their competitors.
Right.
And the problem is you'll sit there and watch a whole season
and then you ain't
be done in the first week.
Right.
Now, me, I take my time, but sometimes my best friend will harass me, be like, you need to watch this, or I go on social media and somebody tries to spoil it. So it kind of causes everybody to binge watch. Then you're done with the show and you're waiting a whole another year for another show to come out or another season of that show that you're watching. It's true. It should have never had that, the whole binge release thing.
True, because folks will sit there on a Saturday or Sunday and watch a whole episode. I just did that with 13 Reasons Why the other day, so I can't even front.
Oh my goodness!
But it's like,
see, we had an hour in, and did y'all want to talk about that 13 Reasons Why?
Ooh.
I mean, I'm going to admit, I don't like that girl, the new character in that show.
No, they really bullied her.
I know, but I didn't like her character in the show.
I didn't either, but she got bullied in real life for that.
Real life.
We gotta talk about that.
She deleted her whole Instagram.
I saw that. Folks need to learn how to separate television from reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The girl's sister's doing her job.
Because, like, I didn't like her character, but that just means that she played her part really well.
Yeah.
Because she was unlikable, and that definitely probably was the goal. So there's no reason to be harassed like a real human being. And it's funny because I ain't hear that about the kid Bryce on 13
or Monty.
Or Monty.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And they was a rapist.
Right. So we harassing a young black girl who character we ain't like just because
her only thing was she was in everybody's business.
Right. She was sticking her nose in some things.
But she carried the show though. She carried
the show.
She did. That whole season was her.
Okay.
She carried the show.
And I ain't like her, and that whole season was her.
But see, people are saying this because of racism. There was some black people that was coming for it too on social media.
Black people are victims of internalized depression, and they commit racist things too. They can't be racist, but sometimes black people are brainwashed and think like white people. It's a sad.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, why didn't they keep that same energy with the character for Bryce or the character? Right. Obviously, y'all know that it's not real. She's not like that in real life either. Right. I feel bad that she had to delete her Instagram handle, and even with when you're thinking about what's her name, Haley or whatever, or Haley Bailey, that's playing
Halle. Oh no, it's not. Oh,
Haley
Bailey.
Haley Bailey, that's playing Ariel.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
She's still got her Instagram up and everything. I'm like, all right, yeah. I thought I was so scared. I thought she was gonna quit.
But
because them couple weeks.
Yeah, they was on her hard. They was on her hard.
I think because, I mean, she has a big platform and that she has people that's there to protect her because she's young. But knowing the girl from 13 Reasons Why, she's just starting out as an actress.
Yeah, that probably was too much for her.
And she never handled something like that before.
That probably was too much for her.
Because Chloe and Halle, they did get backlash from doing the Super Bowl, singing the Super Bowl. They did? They sung "America Is Beautiful," I think.
What is always going to be? This is always going to be someone saying something when you have that much of an influence.
Right. Everybody never going to agree with you when you in the public eye. You're just making sure you're doing what's good for the majority of the people.
Yeah, that's all that really matters.
Right.
I don't know.
But you already know new season coming out soon because...
Yeah, I already know because now the person that was with Monty, I guess, is going to be like, oh, well, that's not true.
We know who killed...
Oh, yeah, we know who killed
Bryce. So... Wait for that drama.
Right. I need that team
Now,
to
if
unravel
exactly,
a little
if
more.
it's the next season, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what, you're gonna have to confess.
The way they just left us with that had me so upset, and like I kind of suspected that's who it was as they started.
I never did. I thought it was Clay. I thought it was Hannah's mom.
I just knew Clay ain't have it in him. You know what I'm saying? Like they tried to paint him a little angrier this season, but like I knew because all the stuff he did for Hannah and how madly in love with her, how he got all that revenge, none of that was really deadly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He exposed some
Monty.
people. I did too.
I thought it was Monty.
100%.
I thought it was Monty. Yeah.
But what really,
do
you know what clicked my mind? I'm like, is Monty really dead? Like they say he got killed in the jail cell.
Oh no, he probably dead because the way he went out, I think he dead. And I'm not gonna lie, like he did some bad things, but once I kind of like got exposed to his home life a little bit,
you say that's why.
Yeah. It's not like you feel bad for him; it's that you understand. Because for a while, I was like, bro, why is he like this?
But even Bryce too. I mean, I know he's the rich white kid or whatever, but like his backstory, you know, he was around people that told him he could do whatever he wants, so he grew up thinking he can do and take anything that he wants.
Right.
Even he. Like, I remember one scene where he was talking about, I wish I did this when I was little or whatever. Like, I wish I would have known, I guess it was something with yoga or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he learned...
opened up the yoga studio?
Yeah, he learned, like, what's the word? Discipline, I guess, with that.
Uh-huh.
And, parents that give their kids everything. Y'all need to take heed. Like, this is what happens when...
And once we saw Bryce's father and his grandfather and their language and just how misogynistic they was, I was like, okay.
Now we see.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
The apple don't fall far from the tree.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So, I know y'all all agreed with Monty going to jail, right? But do y'all feel like Tyler could have went to jail at some type of extent, If here's a... Tyler is the one
he was about to be a school shooter.
Yeah, the school shooter.
As an attempt, though, I mean...
For attempted murder or something, a jail.
If he would have actually did it, which he would have if
he would have
Clay
fired
didn't.
a gunshot, maybe, but I mean, Clay stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
Clay stopped him. He got lucky. Clay stopped him.
He got real lucky.
I just feel like...
He got real lucky.
That never happens in real life.
Yeah.
He got real lucky.
Like, if that was real life, they would have got attempted.
Oh, we wouldn't know because it would, if we didn't know, they would be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's be clear. They did Monty really dirty, though. Like, dead or not, like, you shouldn't put murder on somebody's name, like, their legacy. Like
they got the cop to do it. I'm like, yo.
That was, I don't know.
The cop, the sheriff, the one who was talking with
Ani.
Well, yeah, Lonnie. He know how Bryce was killed.
Oh, he know his son did it.
You know?
he know.
He said he got tire tracks from his wife's car at the scene.
He didn't even need
his
Ani.
son did.
He didn't.
He didn't. He could have pieced that together all by himself. And something was telling me, like, as the episodes was going on, that was who she was talking to. Yeah, like I like a couple of those things started to become clear before they opened it up.
But when we actually seen it, I was just like, why? Like, why did he do it? Like, I understand when he tried to pick him up. And it was like, okay, he was just saying some crazy stuff. I'm like, why are you saying this now? You at the mercy of these two people, and you over here talking crap in your last dying breath, and he just threw you.
And the girl, I forgot her name already. The girl,
Jessica,
yeah. So she basically, I mean, she's an alliance. She didn't help him at all because he raped her too, but.
She would be accessory to murder because she didn't say nothing.
She was there. She didn't say nothing. She didn't report it. She didn't attempt to stop it. She would be. But, I mean, and that was definitely murder. But there was one thing that Alex said that it don't justify murder because you can't justify murder. But he looked him in his eyes and said, you hurt everybody I ever loved. And then he just started shoving them. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and I guess in his mind, some way, like, all right, like, maybe the pain going to stop with Bryce. Like, if Bryce is gone, like, maybe nobody would have been bullied. But I like how, like, they took this season to, like, kind of step into Bryce, like, rehabilitation a little bit. Because, I mean, he did some awful things, but he was trying.
He was trying.
In the end, he was trying. And he didn't deserve to go out like that. You know what I'm saying? And Zach...
Yeah, but no one deserves to be killed.
Right. And it was awful.
You can tell, like, almost every little character felt a soft spot for Bryce as as the season was going on.
That's what I like about this show.
Yeah, they felt a soft spot. They knew he was changing, but they still give him the benefit of the doubt.
And I know that, I don't know if you guys watch it, but I also always watch the talkbacks after every season. And I like how one of the producers was like, well, monsters aren't made, they're born. Mm-hmm. And it's like that's with Bryce. You see where everything, and Monty too. You kind of see Monty's during the end. When you see his dad or whatever. But definitely, it was all on Bryce. Like you could see his upbringing and what made him do what he wants to do, which is not justifiable. But you can see where that came from, where that sense of just I can do whatever I want.
That entitlement.
The entitlement, yeah.
But at some point, I also thought Bryce's mother would probably killed him because she was fed up with Bryce. At some point,
no, I never thought that. No,
like,
not
she
for
didn't.
a
She
second.
didn't. That's what I thought.
Like, they definitely painted it as if that was an option because they gave us a couple of options. But I always thought that was the weakest link. I would have thought Clay did it before she did it.
When I first saw it, though, I was like, what if they all did it and they just trying to cover that?
She couldn't stand her son at one point in one episode. Like she said all the thing about her son, and she didn't care for her son. She didn't want her son around her, like, at all.
You talk about that note?
No, not the note.
I was about to say because Bryce actually broke that in.
Yeah.
Right, the note had me shaky a little bit
like,
until
it
came out that I ain't trying to spoil it for y'all, but until it came
already
out,
done spoiled
it. We went deep in it until it came out that he wrote it, and that was just letting me know that he was trying to change even more for him to express that.
And they try to make it seem like Hannah's mother killed him, but that's an easy link to think about.
Honestly, I'm not gonna front though. Her energy was a little funny when she
that
came
voicemail.
The voicemail was funny. That conversation she had with Clay about Clay saving himself was funny.
I'm like,
I low-key thought she did it for a quick second. I was like, all right. I mean, and if she did it, hey, you know what I'm saying?
My number one option was still Monty, but still, we found out who really did it. I'm like,
I wonder how things is gonna happen next season.
Right. I wonder if Monty just gonna be forgotten about. Because I want to know a bit more about him. Like, when his dad spit in his face.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, that's what happens. You never know what you're going to get when you come out.
Right.
You never know if they're going to love you, if they're going to kick you out, kill you, beat you up. You never know.
I saw the pain in his face that he was trying to hold in, and then he had to go right back to prison for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was, They did their thing on that show.
Yeah, they did. It had me like,
shook. I feel like Monty had a lot of hurt in him, and I feel like he had a crush on Tyler, but, I
don't think he had a crush on Tyler.
I think he did. Other football players was around, and, they would have bullied Monty if he was to be, openly gay. Not
Tyler. I think that Tyler had major beef. I think he had a thing for Bryce. Because if you think about it, he did what he did to Tyler because Tyler was getting too close and trying to get Bryce in trouble and stuff like that. Like he was on that band.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? And he was like,
he tried to silence him.
Yeah, he tried to silence him. Yeah, you ain't gonna come for my boy, so I'm gonna do this. I feel like maybe Monty probably had something for Bryce. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And Bryce knew.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So he had always had something over him. That's why I also thought that. Monty did it too,
right?
But it was shoot. It could have been something might come out next season. Yeah,
we need a little bit more tea on that. We need to stir that up.
You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Hopefully, by the next season, it'll be like
everything will be clear
and not just all the episodes in one every week.
Right?
Because I can't with this whole. I mean, it's cool. But then when it's over, it's like you got nothing else to watch.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. I don't know if y'all watch Power, but Power comes out one episode a week, and they really do be having you waiting.
Right.
And you really, that anticipation build up every day until it hits Sunday. Mm-hmm. They say this is a big rich town.
Wait,
I'm over here watching Bates Motel till the next show come out.
Well, with Power, I'm skipping over the theme song right now. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know what 50 was thinking.
What is the whole thing about this theme song?
50, if you hear us, so 50 changed the theme song on Power, and now it's just Trey Songz, and then he got a little verse, but he switched his verse up a little bit. But like, if you ever heard the initial theme song on like seasons 1 through 5,
Stick with Joe,
right? Like it was so smooth, like.
And it's the last season, so why would you do that?
Right.
At least change up the song with Joe still on the song.
It don't even sound right to folks.
I don't care for Trey songs.
It don't. It really, it honestly sound bad. Like, it's not even that it's different.
It's
it sounds, it sounds bad. Like, it makes you feel, it sounds bad.
I think there's going to be a sequel to Power.
You think so?
Yeah, I think 50 said something about a sequel. I think...
with Ghost Son?
Yeah.
Talk about it. That could be real.
Or you mean like a, what's it called? What is it called when a show, like, certain characters go back? A spinoff.
Yeah, a spinoff. Like Fuller House. Yeah, spinoff.
Or like Grownish with Blackish.
That would be real. Or like All Grown Up with Rugrats.
I try to like that show. Grownish, Blackish.
I didn't even check out Blackish. Grownish. I gotta check out Blackish.
Blackish,
it's
they
okay.
Talk about
they try to be the Cosbys so bad.
They do?
I don't think so.
No, they do. And when you think about Grownish, how their whole promo commercial things were just like, it looked like a different world. I'm like, okay, I get what you guys are trying to do now.
Right.
But it's just like, I feel like, I don't know, it doesn't have, that show, Grownish, really doesn't have no substance because it's like, I never heard of this. Like, they are in college, but I don't know what type of college they're in. That's a lot of privilege
I
right
agree.
there.
I agree.
They got a whole Teen Vogue, internship in the college.
Yeah, that's privilege.
I'm like, what? Can't relate.
Yeah. There's another spinoff to that show as well, too.
This spinoff to Blackish. Now they're doing Mixed Dish.
Mixed Dish.
I'm going to be like,
Mixed Dish?
Mixed Dish.
Please, Mixed Dish is Blackish. Let's be clear.
What is up with all these ish?
Right. If you mixed, you're black. That's how society gonna treat you. Unless you mixed and you still look like a Caucasian.
Ooh, child. Okay. So that was a whole hour of us talking about everything that happened in this summer, everything that's happening currently. And
got y'all all caught up with the tea.
All caught up. You get what I'm saying? And I'm glad to have you here, Nevin. I'm glad to have you here, Kenise.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can come back next week and we can do this like a weekly situation.
For sure, I'm with that. My schedule freed up a little bit this semester, so we could get to it.
All right.
I'm with that.
That's it for this episode of the podcast. And until next time, I'm your host, Darren Green, and this is the RoundTable Podcast, signing out.